Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm your boy Retro Bliss, and you're on Retro Bliss Gaming. I've got my friends Mike from Mike's Gaming Gala and Brian from BD Retro Mods. We're all here. We're ready to go.
Sorry, we're just a little bit late.
We're just a little bit late. We had a little problem at the very beginning. It was all my fault, but that's okay. I'm sorry. I'm having some problems on my end also right now. With the stream, you guys don't see it on your end, but I'm having a little problem with it's throwing some windows up, and I'm good to go. Anyway, we're here. We're talking about how you can legally download ROMs for your consoles and for your PC, Mac, or Raspberry Pi, so you can emulate. Now, full disclosure, we're not here to tell you where you can download ROMs you don't legally own or that you cannot legally download. We're not here to do that. But having said that, there are places that we're going to share with you where you can download thousands, literally thousands of ROMs.
Legitimate.
Yes, legitimate, fun games for your consoles. I was doing the research, just the Atari 2600 games. There are over 2,500 ROMs in one collection.
Could there be 2,600 of them?
2,600 games. So what we're going to do is we're going to take turns here, and we're going to go over the sources of where to get the ROMs, and we're just going to tell you about them at first. The links are not in the description right now, but at the end of the video, the description will change where you can get a link to where you can get the links to all the sites that we mentioned here on the show. Okay, we don't want any distractions while we're streaming. So, and I also want to welcome everybody who is simulcasting from Mike's Gaming Gala. So welcome to everybody over there. All right, I'm gonna start, and I didn't present my screen yet. Let me do that. I mean, I'm not set. Okay, let's do that. I have allowed it. All right.
This is the part of the show where Retro Bliss is really careful which of his screens he shares.
I kind of have to be. Okay. Right now, we're going to talk about the Atari 2600 games. And the first site that I'm taking you to is to a section to the Atari Age forums. And let me scroll up to my notes here. This is to the Hacks and Homebrews ROM collection version 1.2. And in this collection alone, on this particular page, there are 2,245 games. Now, I'm gonna pull up a window here real quick to my particular collection where I have them on my computer here, and this is all of them.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, if you go, there's actually two collections on the same page. This is just 1.2, but if you go to 1.2b, and you go over here, they're separated. Now, what's really neat on this section here is, did we lose Brian?
Yeah, Brian, there he is.
There was a technical difficulty.
Okay, I'm glad I looked. I thought I heard a pop. Okay. If you look, well, in my ear, I can tell when someone comes in. In this particular, if you click on download both of them, and they don't take very much room on your computer, by the way. 2600 games do not. If you go to where it says hacks, this is really cool. It has like all the different games, 2600 games. So like if you went to let's see, Demon Attack.
Oh, okay, Demon Attack.
Okay, Demon Attack. There are 5 different hacks of Demon Attack that you could play. And they're all right there. And then, but here are all the different hacks for all the different 2600 games that were in this particular collection. So anyway, that's just a taste of just one link that I'm showing you right now. And I'm not going to continue on with this particular one because we have so much material to go over. But that's just
now. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say. Now we do specify this is the way that you can legally acquire games that you're legally allowed to own. That does not necessarily, because obviously in homebrew there's a lot of stuff going on. That does not necessarily mean that the game that they made might not infringe on a property. But if it's not for sale, then technically that's not illegal.
right.
If they could, like, you can make a hack of Space Invaders and give it away for free. That's not illegal.
Right. Okay. All right, let's go to the next page, and let me make sure that I'm right in the right area here, because for some reason my link didn't take me where I wanted to go. It's supposed to take me to a forum. Okay.
And after 1.1 comes 1.2.
Yeah, no, that's not the right one. Oh, that's why. I copied and I overcopied and overpasted.
Oops.
Yeah. Okay. I'll have that fixed, but there's a collection by a good friend of mine, and you guys may know him. His name's Brian Mathern, and he's in one of our groups that I'm going to talk about here in a minute. He's in a Facebook group called the Atari 2600 Homebrew Games, and he has an extensive list for 2600 homebrews, and there are thousands of those. And in that list, he has YouTube pages, he has Facebook groups, and he has Atari Age forum links, all within that list, where you can watch reviews and download the games. It's a very extensive list, and for some reason my link was working earlier and it's not working now. So, but anyway, I'll have that all straightened by the time you guys get to it. But it's a very, I was really excited when I saw this list. I didn't realize that Brian had this list together. It's very, very phenomenal. So anyway, that was my second thing that I was going to show you. Okay, the third thing that I was going to show you is this, and there are only a few games on here, but these are all homebrews that could easily be sold. I don't even know how to pronounce this.
Progedor.
Yeah, okay.
It would be my guess.
Yeah, -x.com. And he made Jutland Skies, Meow 2, Meow 1.
Caramujo.
Yeah, I can't even read that because, okay. 3-point dash version 2, 3-point dash, the Final D, and Stellar Drive. And you can donate if you would like to, but you don't have to. And you just go to these links right here and you just download. And so I've actually streamed some of these games on the channel before. Jutland Skies was actually, if I remember correctly, got
pretty good game.
Yeah, it was quite a good game. So there's that. Okay. And then finally, for the 2600, I mentioned this before, is the homebrew Atari 2600 homebrew games Facebook group by Scott Dayton. Now, I believe you have to request to be in this group, but I don't think he turns people down. Now,
Maybe you should minimize your conversation with Casey.
Yeah, I guess I should. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you for that.
It's Phil's first day on the internet, guys. Don't worry about it.
You would think, but one thing that he does, and actually this is probably one of my larger sources for getting homebrew games, because Scott scours the forums, and he actually watches the channel here and different places for homebrews, and he posts the best of the best and puts them on his Facebook group. And if he has them, he puts links to where you can get the games on his page. And so if it's a game that I've never played or seen before, I'll get the links here, and then I'll download them and play them myself here. So it's kind of cool. Like this is someone that's working on, this is a hack of Flappy Bird that somebody's
Flappy Ninja.
Yeah, Flappy Ninja. Let's see. Someone's making a Rally X or something. I don't know. You just don't know. They talk about some of the paid ones, obviously, but there are a lot of free ones that if you look, sometimes you have to scroll on forever, but you can find them. They're here. So
Facebook groups, really for any community, there is a X in homebrew group. And they are really one of the best places to go to be up to speed on like the Intellivision homebrew Facebook group is a great place to find out all about Intellivision homebrew. Intellivision Gamer, who's in the chat, he's on there all the time. He's sharing news. Everybody shares news there. Same with the Atari homebrew. There are NES homebrew sites. There are Master System homebrew sites. Lots and lots of stuff. And they're a good place to go to get information 100%.
Right. So, all right. So I have done the 2600, and we're going to go kind of in order here. So we're going to do the 7800 next. So do you have a screen to share?
Well, that's not chronological order.
No, but it's kind of in the list that I made order.
Okay. We'll go in the order of the list. That sounds good.
We have nightmares of chronological order after last week's episode. So I'm going to talk about...
I would, sorry, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to, because you start there. I just wanted to point out that the chat was proud of me that I didn't make any comment about the final D.
Okay, let's go. All right, Brian.
Oh, hold on here.
It takes a minute, doesn't it?
Well, it's just I'm using a different computer here today for the episode. Hold on. So let's see. Is that showing?
Yes, it is. I'll add to the stage right now.
Okay. So, that's going to be awkward. Okay, hold on. So the first one I'm going to show is coming off of Internet Archive, archive.org. So with one of the searches of looking for Atari 7800 homebrews and hacks, it lists a whole bunch of different homebrews and hacks for the 7800, which gives little screenshots of the games. You can click on any of these to open them up to then download the file. But there's just a bunch of different homebrews and hacks that are that were publicly available that are been now compiled into this. And again, I think it's really cool just to have an easy way to view those homebrew games and pick the ones you want. Because sometimes you get those big packs that have everything in it, And sometimes it's hard to really go through and figure out, well, what is that? What is that? Where this can kind of give you a little snippet of what you're ultimately going to download for the games. But again, there's just a whole bunch that are available. And again, great site to check out to build your homebrew collection or hack collection for the Atari 7800. And then another site, well, hold on here, because again, I'm going to have to stop my screen and re-show the next one, I think. Okay, Phil. I think it has to.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought. Okay, never mind.
Yep. So then the next site comes from the 7800-8bitdev.org that they do have a ROM pack that has, as it states there, pretty much every ROM that runs on the Atari 7800. And, and again, it's all collected from public sources. So if it is something that, was an issue, they are updating it. So as you can see, it's version 7-14 right now. And again, another great way to just quickly grab a bunch, because again, I just mentioned before, sometimes it's nice to have all of them, but it makes it hard to figure out what you're really getting. Whereas the other site, you can kind of cherry pick what you want to get there with that. But then the last thing to show for the 7800 is off Atari Age's site from Pac-Man Plus, which is Bob DiCrescenzo. He ultimately, when the Atari Age stopped selling the physical copies, of his games, he did put this nice little thing together for people to go ahead and download the latest versions of all the games that he was able to put up here. Because there's still some games that are now owned by Atari Age / Atari that's not in this list of his, but it is, a pretty good definitive collection of what is freely available to download right now. And that's what I got for the Atari 7800.
Oop, we lost Mike.
Man, we're just not having any luck with this tonight.
There were a couple of times where both of you guys, the connection was stuttering. I don't know what's going on. And it's his turn too. All right. Well, let me hold on a minute. Let me gather my stuff here. Maybe I'll go ahead and do the NES while we're waiting. So we were going to do the Intellivision next, but since he's not here, I'm going to go ahead and attempt, since I wasn't quite ready.
Yeah, don't lie, Bill. Phil, you booted him, didn't you?
Huh?
You booted him, didn't you? Yeah, you were upset that he stayed PG and you still had to get your boot fix in.
I try to boot him at least once an episode. You know what I'm saying? No, but seriously, I don't know what happened. I wonder if we did have one episode where we were close to losing power. We had a major storm come through Ohio. Remember that?
Yep.
You had the same thing because you were up north in the same system, crossed Ohio at that same angle about the same time. And so yeah, it was kind of interesting. So Mike, he's hello. I hear you. That's you look a lot better.
We got a problem. Some may be aware. I've been filming for the last 2 days, and I've raced to get back here, believe it or not, from Ohio for this. And my camera's battery has died, even though it's plugged in. But I can share my screen.
Okay, well.
Okay, you're up for Intellivision. Share away.
Share screen.
You definitely look a lot better.
Entire screen 1. Share.
Probably gotta allow it, Phil.
No.
There's nothing I can do on my end to change it.
You have to bring my screen into the show?
You are. I can remove you and add you. I'll remove you and I'll add you. That's all I can do.
Do you? It shows my screen is presenting.
Yeah, as I say, you should have to open up the screen just like you did for me.
I could do
Yes,
that.
there we go. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
I
what
thought you meant.
did
I
to
thought
do.
you meant. Never mind. Okay.
Okay.
I thought you were talking about your face.
No, my screen.
I'm trying to multitask here, guys. I'm sorry.
Face, screen, same thing.
All right. So Intellivision, yes. This is the one time that Phil did not boot me. I self-booted accidentally. So intvprime.com is a fantastic resource for all things Intellivision. Really, they've got absolutely anything you could want to know about the Intellivision. They have it, including a bunch of links to legitimate Intellivision ROMs. This includes the Inti Basic contest entries from 2015, 2018, and 2020. I'm sure he'll be adding the 2024 competition soon. Super Pixel Bros, 80s Hit Volumes 1, Meteor's Tribe, and others here. Stack 'em Up, Stack 'em and Stonix. There's also some source links here. There's also some information about the emulators, which is really there's only one to really talk about, and that's JZI and TV, particularly with Michael Hayes' front end on it. Another source here is NanoChess's site. This is Oscar TG's site. And if you go to his retro gaming, he does have a store here where you can buy some of his ROMs, but he lists a bunch of games that he's made here. And some of them have free download links. And he's shared them for free. So Tower Attack, Pumpkin Castle, Lost Kingdom. So there's plenty of stuff here for sure. He also has some ROMs for sale. So that is a great resource. pdroms.de. There are several homebrews here that you can download. This link is also in my, I would highly recommend my guide to the Intellivision homebrew scene for 2024. That's a video on my channel. And this link in particular, as well as NanoChess, is in that, including this one, which is mtxworld.dk. And there are some here for sale. You can buy one for $1, buy one for $10, or you can get Tic-Tac-Toe and Super Minefield demo and Jaw Crusher demo for free. A absolutely fantastic resource. In addition to the 2600 is the Intellivision homebrew ROM sites thread in the Intellivision/Aquarius section of Atari Age. In this thread, there are tons and tons of links going all the way through for different games that you can download legally, and they are not, infringing on anything. You're totally fine to download anything that's in this thread, as the vast majority of stuff that is posted here is either posted by the programmer themselves or shared with permission.
I love it. Derek's our new Poe tonight.
That's not going up, Derek. Sorry.
But Derek, yes, you know there is one. You know there is one.
Okay, so that's it.
This
Nope.
last link here.
No, okay.
Oh
I'm
no,
sorry.
that's for the NES one. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
so that's it for Intellivision.
Okay. All right. So let's see, where are we at in television? So the next one would be ColecoVision. So that's you too.
Oh, that's me too. I was just changing my avatar so that I could at least have an MGG logo.
Well, I was
that's
just saying,
okay. Go ahead.
I
Go ahead.
was-
We got.
yeah, I was
Yeah,
just saying,
why don't
yeah.
we space it out and
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I can do NES now.
yeah.
All right. So, all right. So let me go. So there's a site called NES World, and here you can find what's you're looking at the chats apparently.
Yeah.
Okay, you're distracting me. Okay. There are a list of hacks here that you can download. Now, these are individual. You can't download these as batches, but you can download these games here from this site. There'll be a link in the description for this site as well. Now, there is, and we were talking prior to the show, itch.io probably has a lot of places on it where you can download homebrew games and download different kinds of ROMs. But I've listed at least two. Well, I know two here on the NES that are specific to the NES homebrew scene. And this is a collection by Bunny Paw. And he actually updated this 14 minutes ago.
Ooh,
Cereal
14
Cafe
minutes
by
ago.
John Riggs. Look at that.
Yeah,
John
and
Riggs.
one thing to mention is Phil's kind of slide through this too. Is like with itch.io, there's like even for other different homebrews, like for different consoles, it's more than just NES. But then also, again, some of them I think they'll do for free or like at a certain donation amount. Others are a set dollar amount, like we saw with the John Riggs stuff.
Yeah,
And-
some of them like the $10, $10, but
Right. And
Yeah.
I just can't stress enough that like if you like what they're doing, by all means support them. Like I mean, obviously the goal is to try to talk about free things tonight, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with paying for these items as well. If you're not able to legitimately get them for free, because these folks put a lot of work into these games, and the fact that they're giving us new games for our retro consoles that we love, that I think it's very important to support them wherever you can.
I completely agree, and I will mention too that there's two communities on itch.io that are huge homebrew communities and are absolutely fantastic that we're actually not talking about, and that's the Game Boy and, believe it or not, the Playdate. The reason to own a Playdate is because of itch.io. So great resource really for everything, and especially NES is the never-ending scrolling of games is showing us.
Oh yeah, well, and a lot of that too is just because with NES Maker being available, I mean, you've got a lot more people now dabbling into NES homebrew because it's made it more available for people to do homebrew, and that's why you see so much coming out now on stuff like itch.io. So,
and there's going to be overlap probably in some of these sites. So there are going to be games that are going to be on the same sites, I'm sure. But I mean, I keep scrolling and the games just keep coming. So, but that, this is just one site. And here's another itch.io site by John Vanderhoff. Same deal. There are pay to play and then free downloads, and I'm seeing some that are in some of the same games on here. Yep. So they're just collections.
There's an NES game called Dong.
Stop it.
But no, you're right, Casey. I'm the same way. I knew nothing about the 5200 until adulthood, when then finally I saw a video online of someone showcasing it with some of the games. I'm like, wow, I had no idea a 5200 existed until then.
Okay, so let's just move on to the next site. This is another itch.io. I can't even talk. Gradual Games.
Gradual.
Is that how you pronounce it?
That's how you spell grad. Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah, so real quick, Derek had a question with NES Maker. So yeah, I mean, NES Maker is literally a way to, and again, you can do some more coding to it, but they have different templates and other things that just make it a lot easier for someone who might not normally know how the code be able to make NES games. Now, when it comes to trying to put them on physical carts, it's very specific. It has to be the NES 30, the NES 30 mapper.
30.
Yeah, the mapper 30. So again, that's, I don't want to say it's not readily available, but like, because I know like Mega Cat Studios offers it. There's some others, but I mean, it is.
It was originally an Infinite NES Lives
correct
thing. NES Maker is absolutely fantastic. I have half made 3 games. If you want your game to be more than just the basic, though, there is some coding involved. It isn't like there is a learning curve, but it makes, as opposed to programming something in assembly code, it makes it so much more approachable. And I don't know, Phil, we'll eventually get to it for the last thing, but I've left it up on my screen that I'm sharing. The NES Maker community is a massive one. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, and they also have different, Facebook group and other things where, I mean, you can easily ask for help, and you got a lot of people that are willing to like share code to help solve some problems you have and different things. Because if I can find more time in my schedule, I would love to do some more stuff with NES Maker. I mean, but I do think it's really cool that that's out there for folks. So
100%.
So this is basically the last site that I have. Now I do want to say, I think this is the one right here. This one right here, CK introduced me to this the John Vanderhoff site way back. I started the channel with basically Atari 2600 homebrew. I didn't even know what a homebrew was when I first started the channel. I was like, what's a homebrew? And
it's somebody who makes beer in their backyard.
Basically that's what I thought it was, right? And so as I'm going through and CK, he was one of the early subscribers, and he was telling me about NES homebrews, and I'm like, what? Oh, really? And so there have been a number of times that he's provided some homebrews for the channel for us to stream, and I think this is where he has sent me a few times for some really cool games that we have actually streamed on the channel. So anyway, there we go.
So one thing again, just to kind of because
wait. My screen, Phil, my screen.
I'm working on it.
Okay, I didn't know you had to go back to that. Sorry, this is the NES Maker forum. So yes, there is a Facebook group, but the forum here does have a finished games and demos section with 11 pages of threads, where a lot of these threads, in fact, almost all of them, have games straight up in them that you can download and play for the NES.
Wow.
And these are all games made with NES Maker through the community. So it's pretty cool.
Nice. I didn't even know about that.
And then the other thing, just to kind of show Derek quick, and again, I'm not going to spend too much on it just because I know to stay on topic. But if you can bring up my screen, Phil. Yep. So again, NES Makers, just if you go to the new 8bitheroes.com, I mean, again, you can download the latest version of NES Maker. And again, it's not expensive at all. I mean, for what it provides, again, as it says here, $36 gets you the full commercial license that you can use. And then from there, they do have the ability to kind of do some tutorials under their Learn section. Like Mike showed, the forums is great. The Facebook group's great. but this is also a great way just to kind of get you, dabbing into it a little bit and just getting familiar before you start trying to just jump in and make your own thing. So again, they got little pre-made asset games that they have you as tutorials to show you how to make stuff with. So all sorts of different styles of games. So, it's great to do those tutorials if there's a certain type of game you want to try to make, get familiar with it, and then start building on yours. But like I said, hands down for NES homebrew, if you really don't know like the back end like coding, this is a great way to try to make your NES dreams a reality. So
it is, and if you do download NES Maker and go through it, like I said, without any help from the community, I've half made 3 games. Like I have playable levels in 3 different NES games, but particularly the forum is a great, like if you have any questions, there's many people, and there's actually a lot of videos. It's like, here's how you here's how you code a custom title screen into your game. So even outside just the basic tutorial resources, there is a very supportive community there. I was actually a Kickstarter on the NES Maker project, and so I've been following it kind of sometimes a lot more and sometimes maybe not so much for ever since it came out in I think it was 2017. Yeah.
But yeah, and like I said, the main thing is just if you're really considering going like the physical route, trying to get self-published or go through publisher. Like I said, the Mapper 30, I don't want to say it's proprietary per se, but it is a different board, which the different chip requirements and stuff for support there. And there might be some others now, but I know when I helped with the Torgman Adventures game for the Torg Gaming Expo, because I helped beta test it, and I also worked to get the physical copies published and made, where we ultimately worked through MegaCat Studios, because again, they offer Mapper 30, and Broke Studio is another one that can do Mapper 30.
Those there might be 2 that I see most often.
Yeah, I was going to say there might be some others now, but at least looking last year around this time, those were the only 2 that could support making mass production of a Mapper 30 board. So
I have Doodle World, I think.
All right, so who's up next?
Now it's ColecoVision. Now that I got my nice pretty logo there. So,
and it's even radiating every time you're talking.
Listen to me. First, of course, we're back to Atari age. There's in the ColecoVision /Atom section, there is a 16 free homebrew games for Intellivision from Inufato. My turn to not be able to pronounce something. So
you guys laugh and make fun of me all the time, every time.
Okay, you stumbled on Gradual.
All right, let me take off my regular glasses and put on my reading glasses, okay? Now I'm good. You like that better?
So here, like the title says, we got 16 free homebrew games, and these are for the ColecoVision. Some of these may or may not require the Super Game module. I am not sure. I don't think any of them do. They tend to be a little more simple games, but hey, free. The price is right. If you've got a backbit or ColecoVision emulation,
or which we will be talking about.
Yep, this is the thread for you.
We're going to be talking about that in a bit.
They got the older versions here as well. Right here on the ColecoVisionAddict.com, there is a catalog of a whole bunch of different homebrew games. Tons and tons.
No,
And
this site's amazing for ColecoVision. Just for the whole history of it, to see everything that's been made.
It
like
really
homebrew
is. You
and
can sort by
commercial.
year. You can sort by how many screenshots it has. It tells you what publisher published it. It tells you the size when applicable. Obviously, not all of these are free downloads. For instance, 1942 by Team Pixel Boy here. This is you can go and get purchase info. However, games like 421, it was a 2002 homebrew for the ColecoVision. Really simple game, but here's the ROM right here for you to download. So not all of them are free, but there are definitely free ones here. And, you know, you might find something that you're like, oh, I really want to see if I can get that one. And you can go buy the ROM or physical, depending on what it is, from that publisher.
Okay.
And then last but not least, Greg's Game Room on YouTube. Solid channel, way bigger than any of us. But he's got this video on 45 ColecoVision homebrews and conversions. Watch the video, like with our stream. You know, don't just use us for the links in our description. Watch our videos. Give us a thumbs up. But he's got links here: Team Pixel Boy, PD-ROMs, and GitHub for where to pick up ROMs that he talks about in his video. C'est bon?
Okay.
That it?
Yep.
So
Okay.
yeah, so I think I'm up next with the Master System. So let me present here again. Okay. Yeah, so for the Master System, you know, there's other things, but I mean the biggest site for Master System stuff is just smspower.org. They have a ton of different homebrews for the Master System, you know, Game Gear, SG-1000, you know, just various different you know, old, you know, 8-bit Sega consoles. And again, you know, I don't know that it's not as big as like the NES community and stuff, but there's still a decent amount of homebrew games that are being worked on for the Master System. And this literally lists what they have available for you to be able to download and check out. And so I'll just kind of scroll through some of it, but you know, there's some really cool ones. Like that's cool. Like I've not tried that one yet because that's actually a fairly new one, but like if they truly pull off Bomb Jack, be like the arcade, that'll be a fun one. But again, you got just, like I said, just a number of different ones. And like I said, it's been a while since I've been to this site, so I see there's some new ones coming up. I'm real curious to see how they all play out. So, but yeah, like I said, SMS Power, great place to go for your Master System homebrew fix.
And if I could say something,
fantastic site.
Yes.
It is. I have a friend named Benji from France. He's into the homebrew community big time over in France, and he has his homebrew friends over there upload to this site all the time. So there are some really cool games on this on the SMS Power. Very good games.
And I will say too that a lot of the very much like the Intellivision community, a lot of the original games for the Master System didn't really take advantage of what the Master System could really do. And the homebrews, especially certain homebrews, really bring that to light.
Yeah.
And there are some absolutely great ones on that. And as Chris Walker mentioned in the comments, he noticed Acid Reflux the game. Yeah. Like there's a lot of fun stuff in there.
I've lost
So
track.
So there was a question there, it looks like, from Retro Overdose. So Master System ROMs are .sms. I don't believe there's any other file type when it comes to Master System. I believe they're all SMS .sms. Where Genesis has I think 2 or 3 different file types that it could possibly be. But that's the biggest indicator if it's a Master System game or a Genesis game is just literally the .sms at the end of it.
Now, there is something I need to actually bring up that I actually totally forgot about the SMS Power site. Some of these ROMs require that you have the base game. So if it's a hack of a, let's say you're playing Time Soldiers, there's a hack of Time Soldiers that I play. I have the hack file, but you need the base ROM in order to play the hack of it. So if you don't legally own Time Soldiers,
Yeah.
you can't play it legally. So, but there are instructions if you do legally own it and you have the ROM for Time Soldiers, there are instructions on SMS Power how to do it. So they describe and tell you how to do it there.
Actually, Cannabis, Game Gears.gg. But normally the Game Gear emulator, yeah, but the emulator can also play usually the .sms because again, if you had the adapter, you could play your Master System games on your Game Gear. So, and some of that as well is that you've had some folks that have converted Game Gear games to the Master System, which is why you kind of see that as well.
Okay. So I think we've talked about the links for all of the
Oh, I was like, we're not doing handhelds.
No, we're not. And the thing of it is, I don't know if we mentioned at the onset, we're just doing Gen 2 and down, and we're not doing every Gen 2 console. We're just doing a few of them. The major ones
we just talked about.
Yeah, just the ones we talked about. But we are going to tell you how to play them. Now, obviously, you can emulate these on a PC or a Mac, or you can actually play these on your original hardware if you want to. So we're going to start with that first. We're going to talk about multi-carts. And this we can kind of talk as a group, I think. Yep. Because you guys all have experience with multi-carts.
I'm going to try something.
Same as I. Although, poor Mike.
Wait.
Okay. Wait. Uh-oh, we lost audio. We lost visual.
No.
Although.
Come on. Oh, wait. Settings.
Oh, he's there!
Yeah. The battery charged long enough.
I might drop off again, but if I do, I'll be back.
Okay, we'll let him start first.
Start with this one.
Okay, you go, Mike. Go.
Intellivision fans know about the LTO Flash. The LTO Flash is the ultimate flash cart for Intellivision. You can put your ROMs on here. It'll play JLP games. It'll play Luigi games, which are like locked Intellivision ROMs. Problem is, it's not being made anymore. Good thing is, there are plans to make it again. Bad thing is, those plans involve the involvement of Joe Zabisiak, who is not the most responsive or quick to get to things because he's a very, 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 very busy man who has done a lot for the community already, so we can't harp on him too much for that. But there are tons of boards waiting to be programmed and put into shells and sold to people. And I hope that happens sooner rather than later. I would like to see that before the end of the year. Otherwise, there are other flashcard options that aren't as good, but still will get the job done in most cases, if you guys want to talk about those ones.
Okay. So, Brian, do you want to mention anything else? Since he mentioned the Intellivision first, what other options for the Intellivision do you know about?
So really, when it comes to the Intellivision, like I said, I wish I could get one of those. I really want one of the
LTOs. They're nice. I can't get one either.
Mine doesn't even have a sticker because I got mine before they were sold because Electronite did all their game testing on these.
I mean, at the end of the day, I would love to have one of those. So I do hope they bring them out. But again, another option. Now, again, I think you might struggle with some homebrews with it for specifically Intellivision is just is the back bit. So which again with the back bit, I love this thing. I mean, is it perfect? It's not perfect, but
Close.
But the fact is, what's really cool with the back bit is, and it can come in red or black because it's just a 3D printed shell. But the thing with the back bit is that you can swap out the bottom with different boards to work on various consoles. So
these adapters come out.
Yeah.
And
so
you buy for whatever console you have.
Yeah, so you pay for the back bit core piece itself, which that price includes, I believe, one board, and then from there you can buy the add-ons, which the person who does this has made boards for pretty much every Gen 1, 2, and starting to get into Gen 3 with like Master System that that you can think of. Because like I said, you have this, but then I mean, I don't have all of them, but like here's my adapter for Odyssey 2. Got my adapter for Vectrex. 5200, even though I do have the Atari Max that I kind of like a little better, but again, that's an option. Atari 8-bit.
Can I do my really cheesy little bit? Because when Phil was doing this, all I saw in my head was the Power Rangers things, like go emulators.
Yeah.
And it's like Intellivision.
I was wondering
Atari.
what you were laughing at. I'm looking at the chat. I'm like, oh, what did Poe put in there now?
Well, he did say just strap on a different one.
Yeah, but then also have the MSX, and then have the Coco, and then TI-99. So I mean, again,
and they off it on the SD card, everything.
Yeah.
All
so
of
what's and to Phil's point, what's nice is you can have all those ROMs just on the one SD card. You can have them in different folders and access them and play. Like I said, great option. Like I said, does it work 100% on everything? No, but really any flash cards never. The LTO might be close, but none of them, I believe, are true 100% compatibility for what's out there. So,
okay. Well, I'm going to bring this up because I don't think Brian nor you have this. And this is not something that I would recommend getting. And it's called the Concerto cart.
Oh,
it's funky looking because I have a green. Oh, you do have one.
Yeah.
Phil has the chameleon version.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Do not get this. I do not suggest it. How about you, Brian?
Yeah, I think there's a better option out there. Again, it's okay. I mean, it's okay, but the problem is that again, it does have its issues. The other thing is, like, if you want pokey sound with it, you actually got to get a pokey chip or a hokey, and put it in yourself. And but then also updating the firmware on this compared to other options isn't as friendly. I mean, it's not like the end of the world, but it's not as friendly as
you don't know your way around,
right?
Kind of thing. It can.
But
be
yeah,
daunting.
This definitely is not perfect. And with what is perfect, I think you pay the little extra money and get it, and that is the 7800 game drive.
Yep.
I love this thing. It has so much support for games. Now, again, they don't have everything running yet, and even when you do select some ROMs, it'll even tell you it's having issues with it currently. But what's really nice about this, if you're familiar with the homebrew scene of the 7800, it plays Ricky and Vicky, which that's huge because Ricky and Vicky used its own sound chip that was only for that game. So like you can't just throw the ROM on any flash cart to be able to play that. So so again, this supports Ricky and Vicky, which is huge. Supports the Yamaha sound chip. It supports Pokey, and it has a ton of support. And what I really like about it is that it has the RGB out on it.
Yeah.
So like you get the what is it? The Retrovision, is that it? Cables? Yeah, I think so. Isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you get the nice RGB out cables from them, this is just like your Sega Genesis output, and then plug it into something like a retro tank to your HD TV, and it's a beautiful picture. And again, like that's not having to do any modding to your 7800 console, so that just runs right off this.
Yeah.
So again, I highly recommend this one. This one costs about $60 more than the Concerto cart, because I think the Concerto is $100. If you get it with a Hokey chip in it, I think it's like an extra $10. Where like this is 160, and you got so much more available to it. And I believe there's already been more firmware updates for this than what I've seen on the Concerto. So.
Okay.
When talking about 2600, there is a way that you can do it if you only have original games. If you only have original Atari stuff, but you have ROMs and you want to get them on your system, there is a way to do it. If you have ROMs, there is a way online, and I'll see if I can find it and put the link in the description, where you can convert your ROMs to audio files. And then if you have the original supercharger, or if you have any of the reproductions of it, like the Cuddle Cart, you can plug that into an Atari 2600 and plug into your audio jack on your computer and actually play the ROM, and it loads the ROM, and you can play any game, including homebrews, no matter what fancy stuff they do, because it loads the ROM entirely. It's actually a really cool piece of tech. It's not the fastest way to play. Obviously, you guys are going to talk about, you've already talked about the back bit, and I know there's the Uno cart and the Harmony cart that you guys will probably show. But if you've got a supercharger, you can load homebrew ROMs onto your system without having to buy a cart.
Yeah, that's a interesting option. Not the fastest option, but it's an interesting option. Yeah.
But then so when it comes to which one were you going to show next, Phil? So that way I don't take it.
Well, I have the Harmony in my hand.
Okay, you do the because I won't take mine.
No, that's okay. We can show them at the same time.
Okay. Oh yeah,
because you just have the Harmony Encore.
You got the translucent versions.
Yeah, because I have a green screen. Go ahead and show yours. That's a little easier. There it is. But this thing is amazing. Now, I will tell you, there's actually a little story behind this. I bought one pre-COVID, and I buy my ROMs from Champ Games whenever I buy the physical carts. And so, being inherently lazy, I bought a second Harmony cart because I have two setups in the Bliss Cave, one with a 2600 and one with a 7800, and I didn't want to go from one system to the other with my 2600 games. And this is before I got my back bit. And besides, some of my Champ Games wouldn't run on the back bit, so I thought, well, I'll just get two Harmony carts. So I bought the second Harmony cart, and like a lot of games like Draconian didn't work, Space Rocks didn't work, some of John Champeau's games did not work. I actually worked with John Champeau on a number of his games and did some testing with him, and he would send me ROMs to say, okay, does it work now? Does it work now? Does it work now? Because what happened was during COVID, the supply chain was so bad with chips that they had to get chips from another source, and they were different. And so the chips that were in the new Harmony carts were not compatible with the games that were previously coded. So Space Rocks had to be recoded. So whenever I stream Space Rocks, I include a link to the new fix. It works on both carts. Draconian, I provide a link for the ROM for that works on both carts. It's a lot of people don't know that. So if you do use a Harmony cart, be very aware that if you buy a new one, you're probably going to be getting one with the newer chip. And some ROMs may not work, but it depends on the game. And it's very possible that the fix may be out there, maybe in the Atari Age forum somewhere. And get on my Discord and feel free to ask me. I may know because I work with some of these guys. And I do a little homework, not a lot, but I do a little homework on some of this stuff. So anyway, go ahead, Brian. And,
and just real quick in the chat, you're correct, Wallace. It is .8A78, not just .78.
Oh, I'm sorry, I hit .78, A78.
Yeah. So so just I guess real quick to the show is just when it comes to the ColecoVision, again, you can use a back bit, and I think it has a pretty good success rate with a lot of the stuff. But the one that I use on a very regular basis, and it's mainly because I had it before the back bit, and I really like it a lot, is the Atari Max Ultimate SD for the ColecoVision. I think this is the Cadillac version, for flash carts for that particular console, and I like it, and I do like that it has a built-in reset button as well. So then that way, instead, because I don't know, I hate powering off the console on off when I want to change out my game. So it's just nice to be able to just hit that reset button.
Now, didn't they have a previous version called 128-in-1 multi-cart? There was a previous version to that.
That I do not know.
There was a multi-cart. Yeah.
I mean, I think you could load games on it, but it was called 128-in-1, by Atari Max for the
I never had one, but I believe.
Yeah, I didn't either. But when I was looking into it, I thought I've never heard of that. I heard of Atari Max, but I didn't. I knew you had the Ultimate, but I didn't know. I didn't hear about that one. So very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. So no. So actually, Poe, no, I highly doubt that'll work on a Harmony cart. You're probably going to need one of these. So. But then they really kind of talk about, and I forgot to bring it up, but I'll hit them both together because they're both from the same producer. Is for the NES and the Master System, I highly recommend going with the Crix flash carts for those because again, they're tried and true. And can you get knockoffs? Yes, you can, but you want to be careful because some of those knockoffs have been proven to not have the correct voltages on them. So you might actually damage your console. It's not a guarantee, but there is stuff out there that truly shows that the knockoffs weren't using correct voltages with some things. So
if you would like the dumb, really expensive, the most expensive possible flash cart you could ever get for your NES, you could get one of these.
Oh goodness!
What in the world?
I can't put an SD card in it.
Yeah.
And you could play any ROM you want for the low price on the used market for like $900 now.
Oh my goodness gracious!
I bought mine for less than that. But this is, for those who don't know, this is the Analog NT. This is an NES/Famicom for people with more money than brains.
But yeah,
like
so
he said it, not me.
But yeah, so like I said, for the Master System, that would be the Master EverDrive, X7. Again, great option there. And then also, if you do have the Genesis flash cart from Crix, because he makes a couple different models of it, Master System ROMs will technically work on that as well. So again,
I have that
power system converter.
Right.
I have the Genesis version of that, but for my Master System, I would prefer to have had the EverDrive for the Master System, but I went the cheap route and got this. Have you seen that?
I have never seen that one.
That is the AliExpress.
But it works.
It does work, but
it's not great, but it does work. I've had it since Christmas, and I use it a lot.
Yeah.
So you get what you pay for with these things. I'm sure it's not a Crix, but EverDrive. That's what I would like to get at some point. But I do have an EverDrive for my Genesis, like Brian says, it plays my Master System games already on that anyway. The only thing I don't get is the logo when it comes on.
Yeah.
You know, when you turn on the Master System games, you don't see the Master System logo when the game pops up. That's the only difference. So
But
anyway.
yeah, and so then and with Crix, EverDrive N8 or N8 Pro. Actually, I don't think he sells the N8 anymore, but the N8 Pro would be the option for Crix for NES. But another one to show, like if that's more than you want to spend, that I did find to be a good solution. I mean, again, it doesn't have as much compatibility as the Crix one does, but it still can do a lot of stuff, including a lot of those NES Maker games. And that would be, let me share my screen here again one more time. Okay, if you can share that, Phil.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was doing the chat too.
Yeah, so it's called the I'm sure I'm going to butcher this. The Crizio cart. Rizio cart. I don't know, but anyhow, you can see the name of it there. But again, it has about an 80% compatibility, greater than 80% compatibility rate with a lot of games, and you can actually get this for about $60, and it's really good. Now, the thing that's just different is that where like the EverDrive will like fast load games. I mean, this does like actually load it to memory first. So it's actually flashing it. And but the benefit to that, though, is if you do play on a lot of clone consoles, this particular cart will work on a clone console, because the Crix, especially the new ones that are using FPGA in them and stuff, they don't always work in clone consoles. So, but again, this is one, because I actually picked one of these up whenever I have my demos at conventions. So like whenever I play on have an NES demo, I'm just running one of these. And again, I've been really happy with it. You can actually find it on eBay, because this individual sells it on eBay, or you can go to their actual website and order it direct as well. So again, if the EverDrive is a little out of your price range, this is one that I can recommend that does still have proper voltages and stuff. That is another good option. I mean, doesn't have as much support, but again, I think a lot of the popular ones you're wanting to play, it will play.
Now, Brian, let me ask you a question. On a lot of people don't know this, on the NES EverDrive, you can actually load Famicom games and play on your NES. A lot of people don't know that. Can you do the same with this?
Yep, you can. Yep.
Okay, good.
Is that it for?
So that must be.
I think so. Yep.
Okay, so the last thing that we're going to talk about then are the emulators. So I don't know if you guys got a chance to look into this or not.
I was going to bring up one.
Okay. Well, yeah, I know which one you were.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me start with the 2600, and we'll work our way through, if that's okay.
I just don't know if my camera's going to last.
Okay. Well, then you go ahead.
So why don't I do this one first? So this is if you've got an Android device, there's an app called Argon. Now there is a download, a subscription service if you want to add your own ROMs to it, but for free stock, there are over 300 games. Let's see if I can do this without looking at, for everything from the 2600 through the 5200, 7800, Atari 8-bit computers, Atari Lynx. I can't read on my screen now because Phil decided to put a thing at ColecoVision, Intellivision, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, NES, and Pico 8 and Vectrex. And there's over 300 free games on here. You don't have to pay a cent, and they're all homebrews.
Nice, very nice. Okay, so you have a website also? Did you say you had another emulator?
No, just Argon.
Okay, I thought you were going to bring up the
which emulator did you think I was going to bring up?
The JZ INTV.
Oh, I thought you wanted to talk about that one.
Well, I can.
JZ INTV, particularly with the front end by Michael Hayes.
Yeah.
RetroBliss has a video on how to set it up, but it is the best. Really, it's the only emulator you should be using for Intellivision. It is compatible with JLP games, which I don't think any other emulators are. I could be mistaken on that, but it is leaps and bounds the best Intellivision emulator out there. And unfortunately, one thing that I realized is that the ultimate PC converter for plugging your Intellivision controllers or ColecoVision or Atari controllers into your PC is out of stock and no plans for any more to be made. So people are, I know Intellivision gamers looking into, there are some other potential options that could work, but that thing, I bought mine like a month ago, and I'm so glad I did because it's phenomenal. But otherwise, you'll have to use a gamepad, a generic gamepad with the number pad on your keyboard to play.
Okay. All right. So let me do something real quick here. I want to talk about the 2600 first. Without a doubt, there are multiple emulators for the 2600, but after doing research, I'm not going to recommend for Windows but one, and that's Stella. If you try to emulate with anything other than Stella, you're going to have mixed results. Stella is the most stable emulator and the most versatile emulator for Windows that you're going to have, okay? Bar none. You do your research on Atari Age anywhere, I guarantee you everybody's going to tell you the same thing. Now, let me share my screen. There are actually multiple ways to do this. You can actually use Stella on a Mac if you want to. You can. And you can also do it on Linux as well. Having said that, if you have a Mac, I recommend using OpenEMU, which is similar to RetroArch. RetroArch is a all-in-one, all-inclusive front end that allows you to download certain cores for multiple systems, and it plays many, if not most, of your 2600 games. But RetroArch does that. But OpenEMU for Mac, it plays everything you can throw at it, and not just for 2600. Almost every system that I've tried to emulate on a Mac, at least for me. And I know, Mike, you have a Mac also, don't you?
Oh,
No? Oh, I thought you did.
I used to have to use Macs for work. I like real computers now.
Now I know. Operations. One of our one of my subscribers has a Mac, and he swears by OpenEMU as well. So that's one of them. And then like I mentioned was RetroArch. If you wanted to use RetroArch, that's kind of an all-inclusive for a lot of these systems, but you're not going to play Intellivision on there very well at all. ColecoVision, you're going to get mixed results. So I personally, when I stream on the channel, I use individual emulators every time. I don't use RetroArch. I used to. I don't use RetroArch any longer. I use the individual emulators for each individual system. So that's what I do. All right. So I guess we could do the 7800 now if we want to. You want to do that, Brian, or you want me to do it, or
you can do it? Because I'll be honest with you, I really don't. I mean, like I said, I mean, emulation. I do. If I do it, it's like on a Raspberry Pi that again is running, RetroArch on it.
okay.
So.
Well, I emulate a lot. Mike knows I do because
Yep.
I stream a lot. Hold on a minute. I copied and pasted to the wrong thing.
I'm actually interested in this 7800 emulator because I'd like to stream some 7800 games this weekend.
Excellent. Let me share my screen. The A7800 emulator for Windows is the most stable. It's actually the front end is basically MAME. If you've ever used MAME on your PC, it's the same exact front end almost. But it's the most stable emulator for your 7800 games. And I've talked to Lewis Hill, all the other programmers that we've had on the show, they've all said the same thing. Every one of them. Yeah. This is the one you want to use. The only problem is there's no save feature on there. Like with Stella, you can, if you know, there's a save function on there. If you know, it emulates a save key or a feature. It has a Qatari emulator on there. It's got all these different things. The A7800 doesn't have that. But as far as gameplay is concerned, it's the most stable, and it plays everything you throw at it. So
plus Stella only does 2600.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is the A7800 for 7800 games, that's what you want. So I don't recommend anything else. But if you're on a Mac.
Now, come on. We saw how great the one emulator works with the Atari 2600 Plus. You know, how can you not want to use that one?
If you're on a Mac, OpenEMU again. There it is. So, all right. So, Mike, we talked about the Intellivision emulator, the JZINTV. So, ColecoVision. I wasn't real set up for that, but I use one. There are multiple. It's called COLEM. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I wasn't quite ready because I didn't know I was going to do them all.
Well, you're the one that I got all the systems. Remember, I silly and do it the old-fashioned way.
Okay, hold on a minute.
Although I'm definitely seeing the benefits of it.
Okay, hold on a minute. Let me.
Oh, I mean, it's definitely convenient if you just have
and
everything
also
on one.
Just quality of gameplay footage. Like if I record gameplay on Stella, it's crystal clear. If I record it through an Atari 2600, it's fuzzy.
Yep. So this is the emulator that I use whenever I stream a ColecoVision game. And so here's the link for all of the Windows versions, and obviously there's a version for Linux, Android, other platforms. So there that is. Okay, what are the systems? So Master System. Well, let's go. I've already got this set up. Let's go with I've already got it set up because I thought I was only going to be doing two. I thought I was going to be doing the 2600 and the NES. So I got NES set up. Let's do NES right now. All right. Messin. Let's just go to the list. I've got a list here. I'll provide this website. Messin, FCEU, X, Nestopia, EU, BizHawk, Virtua NES, JNES, RetroArch, and Nintendulator.
I can say that I have used both JNES and FCEUX in the past, and both are solid.
Okay. And that may be so. And I have no argument there. But from my personal experience, what I emulate with when I do is Messin.
Yeah.
It is very
Phil
stable.
ain't messing around.
I ain't messing around. I like that. It's very good. It has when you bring it up, it saves the last 9 different games you played. So it'll have like when you first boot it up, it'll show thumbnails of the last 9 games you played. So if there's a game that you've been playing and you want to play it again and it's a recent game, you just click on it and you go right at it. So it's kind of cool. And the controls are easy to configure. Screen sizes are easy to configure. And it's like I said, and it says right here a high accuracy NES emulator. I've just had a lot of luck with it. That's what I use. So, but they're all here. The link will be in the description when I do update that. So, okay. And then the final,
I was just say, Phil, we're getting way over. So if we can,
Yeah, it's 9:30, man.
let me just, all right, let me do one more, and I'll just do this last one.
Okay.
And it's called Fusion. Let me type in Fusion. Let's see.
What's Fusion, Phil?
I can't type. Hold on.
There you go.
Okay. So basically, it's the same kind of deal. I'll bring it up when I bring it up. It kind of looks like this. And then there's just a drop down menu. You can configure your controllers. There's a pause function, scan line filter, different TV modes. You can brighten the screen, aspect ratio, all that kind of fun stuff. So it's kind of really cool. This is an interesting episode tonight because I honestly thought that we wouldn't have enough to go for the whole hour. Here we are, an hour and a half later.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I am going to do my best to update this list and get it up in the description as soon as possible. Mike, if you could do me a favor and send me a link, updated Intellivision, your
The stuff that I showed, yes.
Yeah, the stuff you showed. If you could send the links to that, I need that because I don't think what I had is adequate.
Yeah, and then I'll make sure that those, like when you do your thing, I'll make sure to check it, and I'll put all those links in the description of mine as well. So no matter where you're watching, you'll be able to get all those links.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And everybody who's been watching, thank you so much for your patience because this has been kind of probably the most chaotic episode.
Yeah.
With just so much information that we've had to go through. A lot of systems, a lot of websites, a lot of information to digest. So with that, thanks, Mike. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it. Mike's been gone. He's been out of town. He probably just got home an hour before the show, if that.
Yeah, probably about 25 minutes before the show. And I had to set up my laptop and get it. Yeah, so
right.
My apologies for the camera cutting out. That was my fault.
Yeah, it's all right. We appreciate you being here as always. So with that, next week we'll see you on Retro Bliss Rewind. So take care, guys. Bye.